Welcome to Becoming CarmaQuanTarot. My journey didn't start the way you might expect. It didn't begin with curiosity or excitement. It began with a search for protection instead of fear. For a long time, fear was the only language I had for my experiences. I spent years praying for the knowing to stop, for the things I sensed, felt, and perceived to just go away. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was being followed, watched, or targeted. I didn't understand yet what I was experiencing wasn't something dark. It was something trying to communicate. And as I moved into adulthood, the wall I built to protect myself started to crack, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. And slowly, I began to realize that what I had spent my life running from wasn't a curse, it was a conversation. The Book of Dreams was one of the first realizations that began quietly when I was in college. I had bought a book on dream analysis because I wanted to understand what my subconscious was doing. Friends started asking me about their dreams too, and at first I relied on the book, but then something changed. I noticed I didn't need it anymore. I would ask a few questions about what was happening in someone's life, and answers would just arrive. I could connect their dreams to their waking reality with ease, and that surprised me. At the time, I didn't think of this as intuitive or psychic. I just thought I had a really good brain, one that could make connections quickly. I didn't yet understand what those moments really were. I would sit with friends during difficult moments and everything would just click. The words came easily, the understanding was immediate. It wasn't until much later, not until I was 45 years old and took my first Reiki course, that I finally understood those moments weren't just my thoughts. Those were my what I call light bulb moments. That's when I realized my guides had been helping me all along. I just hadn't known what to call them yet. One of the most pivotal confirmations came while I was at my mother's house reading Talking with Heaven by James Van Braght. What struck me was that he had once been a Catholic preacher, and yet he was openly talking about communicating with spirit. That alone cracked something open for me. As I sat outside reading, a bird suddenly flew over the house and just dove straight toward me. It startled me so bad. I ran in the house and told my mom what had just happened. When I went back out and picked up the book again, the very next paragraph explained how spirit sometimes uses small animals like birds and butterflies to get our attention. I ran back in and said, "Oh my God, look at this." Even though my mom still didn't want to admit that I knew things, that moment was physical. It was undeniable, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. Experiences like that forced me to move away from the institutional religion that had taught me fear, that had once told me my family was going to hell. I stopped believing in rigid rules and started believing in energy. I do believe in a higher power, whatever name you want to give it. But I believe that at the end of the day, it's your own energy you answer to. My theology becomes simple. Be a good person, forgive yourself, and live in a way you can face honestly. That shift allowed me to stop seeing my gifts as something wrong and started seeing them as something sacred. One of the most beautiful parts of this journey is that the fear didn't get passed down. My children grew up knowing that butterflies are signs from my mother, their grandmother. Instead of being afraid of signs from the other side, they learned to see them as messages of love. There are moments when my child will light a candle and say completely naturally, Grandma Connie, are you with me? And the flame will start flickering dramatically and enough to make you aware and to acknowledge that it wasn't doing that a while ago, and it does that when she asks. So you didn't open a door, there's no wind blowing. What else is doing it, right? And then there was a dream. I dreamt that I was walking in front of a shopping center and saw my mom walking towards me. She was on the phone and I was trying to get her attention. I wanted to be like, Mom, look, my child's here. I want you to meet them. I want you to meet them. But she hushed me and kind of blew me off and kept moving. I was so confused, hurt. I was like, what's going on? And then I saw my child. I'm like, they were walking towards me on the phone and I'm like, hey, come here. Come on, let's hurry. I want you to meet my mom. And I tried to get their attention and they hushed me and blew me off as well. And that's when I realized they weren't ignoring me. They were on the phone with each other, heading somewhere to meet up. I woke up, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, that was just confirmation of that connection that they both had and that they both know and have both been there. And together watching over my child, like that just made, I knew it, but it was just like undeniable. I saw it like a movie playing, right? It was a dream. It was so real. But this journey is like someone who spent their whole life terrified of the ocean because you were told it was full of monsters. Kind of getting there more now with the ocean than I used to be. But anyway, they stayed on the shore, building walls against the tide. But one day they stepped into the water and realized it wasn't trying to drown them, it was trying to carry them. So that's the best kind of analogy that I can give to explain, like, oh my goodness, like this whole time I've been afraid of what's been there and helping me and giving me those light bulb moments when I know what's going on and I know what people are needing at that time. But before I end this episode, I have a very important announcement and I need to be very clear. If anything I've shared today resonates, the knowing, the light bulb moments, the feeling that you've been trying to make sense of something your entire life, you now have the opportunity to explore this safely and intentionally. Enrollment for my classes is officially open. These are live classes where we'll talk about intuition, awareness, energy, how to understand your experiences without fear, without judgment, without labels, and without being forced. Also, if you have a child that you believe might have some sort of ability, sign up for the class. Let's take a look. I can connect with my guides and get the answers that we need as far as to confirm or deny what you might already be thinking. We do this for communicating with your ancestors, and I also use this ability for finding out your blocks if you're working on getting that new job or that raise or that promotion or that love of your life to be drawn in. I find out what's blocking it so we can work on that and fix it. If our subconscious mind would just tell us, we wouldn't have to do that. But unfortunately, it doesn't. So I connect with my guides, with your guides, and get what we need to know. Not always what we want to know, but what we need to know. But I also give you tools and tips on how to make sure you stay in that frequency and that you are getting what it is you're desiring. Now, the first class begins on February 5th. You can sign up right now. And this is important because prices will increase after February 5th. February 6th, they're going up. So if you've been waiting for clarity, confirmation, or the right moment, this is it. The door is open now, but it will not stay at this price. So please go sign up now. I'm no longer reacting to what I lived through. I'm listening to what I'm being guided towards. So thank you for being here and for joining me on this journey of becoming CarmaQuanTarot. And remember, words are spells, energy is sacred, and intention isn't the magic. And intention is the magic. And if you do not know what this means, please, you need to go sign up now. Have a wonderful evening. Until next time.